Might be some problem with him, so he could not join it. In the last session, we were discussing about the certainty of self and the dogma of the ghost. Today, we shall extend this talk, and we have the topic with us: matter, mind, and God. I think these three principles are sufficient to explain the entire cosmic phenomena. We can explain everything, the entire cosmic phenomena, by these three basic principles. Science believes that the cosmic phenomena can be explained by matter only. And many other disciplines believe that everything can be explained by both matter and mind. And many other philosophers, they also claim that the complete explanation is possible if we shall discuss these three principles: matter, mind, and God. Generally, it is criticized, it is objected that we should not entertain the concept of God or the existence of God while explaining the cosmic phenomena, because it is not necessary. It invites metaphysical issues, metaphysical problems. So, for any explanation of the physical world, it is not necessary to adhere to any metaphysical source, because that will make the physics more complex. Metaphysics is not necessary to explain physics. Physics can be explained by physical laws, natural laws. Metaphysics is not necessary. But Descartes discusses both physics and metaphysics with equal justice. According to Descartes' philosophy seems to be a common sense philosophy. Descartes does not intend to be a philosopher. Descartes' intention was not to be a great philosopher. He was a mathematician. His aim was to introduce philosophy in such a systematic manner by which we can start our thinking process with the certainty, and we can deduce all other possibilities with certainty, and we can conclude the entire explanation with certainty. If this aim is fulfilled, then one can be regarded as a true rationalist. If man is given the credit that he is a rational animal and he is distinct from other animals being rational, then his approach to reality, his approach to physical world, his approach to the phenomenal world should be rational. Claiming to be rational, one should not behave irrationally. One should not think irrationally. And no philosophy can be complete, can be comprehensive without a rational approach. It is not necessary to speak volume, to write volume. It is not necessary. But it is very much necessary to speak rightly, correctly, with certainty, that nobody will have doubt, nobody can challenge that the truth we should speak, that must be universal, that must be accepted by everybody. We shall speak of that truth which can be universally accepted, number one, and which does not need any external explanation or conviction or any scripture to make it evident. That means the truth must be self-evident. And anything that is self-evident must be accepted by all. Therefore, truth is universal. Truth is not personal. Truth is not phenomenal. Truth is not relative. Truth is universal. Truth is non-contradicted. Satyam abadhitam. If there is anything truth, that cannot be contradicted by any way. A contradicted truth is not truth. So when we speak of a phenomenal reality, that is subject to contradiction, that is subject to revision, that is subject to relativity. So that cannot be accepted as the truth, universal truth. Truth must be universal, that must be self-evident. So Descartes started his philosophy by ascertaining some basic principles. Cogito ergo sum is one principle. Similarly, there are many principles which Descartes has accepted and Descartes has taken as the source of the philosophical inquiry or the source of human inquiry. Human inquiry should start with the basic principles. Every matter is extended, it is a principle. Mind, the attribute of mind is a thought, thinking substance, extended matter. These are such truths which are free from all doubts. Because we are free to doubt, but we aim to reach at that certainty which is free from doubt. We are free from doubt, but the truth must be free from doubt. If we are not free from doubt, then we cannot speak of any certainty. Therefore, we should believe in, and we should start. It is not the question of Descartes. It is an address to all human thinkers, philosophers. If they claim that they are rational, they should start with some basic, undubitable principles. And from that, all other possibilities can be deduced. So Descartes is speaking of the behavior of a philosopher. How should a philosopher behave? A philosopher should have a direction, should have a goal to reach at the truth. And he should not be confused by different paradigms, different methods. He should not have any confusion. He should start his philosophical pursuit from the very self-evident truth which nobody can deny, which nobody can doubt. And it is true, if I doubt everything, then the very doubting is the truth that nobody can deny. Everybody will agree that if doubting of everything is possible, then the very act of doubting cannot be doubted. If the doubter doubts that he doubts, then he is a doubter, not a doubter. A doubter should be very much rational. A doubter should be conscious of the fact, the very self-evident fact, that he is the doubter. That he is doubting. He is the thinker. If doubting is doubted, then whatever is doubted, they are cancelled. So, it is the self-evident truth that by doubting everything, by negating everything, by rejecting everything, by questioning everything, one thing cannot be questioned. One thing can't be doubted. That is the very act of doubting. Because it will be a contradiction. And truth is non-contradicted. And for these truths, we don't need to go to the empirical world, to any scientific laboratory, to any definitions. No. It is intuitively known. So, and that intuitive awareness is common to every man. This is a human possibility. It is not a matter of teaching, coaching. It is not a matter of reading any scripture. It is not a classroom teaching. Everybody has the intuitive awareness of some basic principles. So, the knowledge that we attain either through deduction or induction, that is knowledge. That is not intuition. But here cogito ergo sum is not a deduction, even not an induction. It is intuition. Intuitively we are aware of the fact that if I am doubting everything, then I am conscious that I am doubting everything. Very simple. I am doubting everything. This is a course of action. At the same time, I am not an ATM machine. I am not an engine. I am not a ghost, as Gilbert Ryle said. I am a conscious being. And in course of doubting everything, I am very much conscious that I am doubting. That means my doubt is a conscious doubt. My doubt is not a mechanical doubt. I deliberately doubt the entire reality that I perceive and that I conceive. The question is, I am doubting everything is not a mechanical process. It is a conscious process. So intuitively I know, intuitively I am conscious that I am doubting. If I say I am doubtful, that I am doubting, then I shall be called a mad person. Nobody will accept me. Nobody will honor my doubt. In our society also, suppose someone doubts somebody. A doubts B. The doubt of A is honored as a doubt if A is conscious that he is doubting. Otherwise it has no meaning. So, if there is an act of doubting, then there must be a owner of that doubting. That is I. So, doubting presupposes doubter. Doubter presupposes thinker. And thinker means no thinker is possible without existence. I am doubting, therefore I am thinking, therefore I exist, I am. It is not a deduction, because there is therefore, we use the word therefore, it appears to be a deduction, but it is not a deduction, it is an intuition. It is intuitively proved, and it is an intuitive awareness. There is no need of any teacher, scripture, any empirical evidence to make this intuitive transition. It is not a deductive transition, it is not an inductive transition, it is an intuitive transition. And it is universal. Everybody who has a conscious mind, everybody who has a rational mind in the true sense of rationality, then he must say, I am doubting means I am. I am doubting means I am thinking, and I am thinking means I am. This is a principle. Thinking is not possible without its source. And that source is the self. That source is the mind. That source is the soul. That source is the ego. That source is I. I, self, ego, soul, mind. All these words refer to the same thing. That is the owner. That is the bearer. That is the source. That is the substance of thinking. Not only thinking, of all mental activities, there is a source that is called mind or self or ego or soul. So, there is a relation between substance and attributes. And this is common sense. It is common sense because it is common to all. It is a common intuitive cognition in all. Therefore, it is common sense. It is not a great philosophy. Descartes is not speaking about a great philosophy. Descartes is making us aware of the basic intuitive cognition that is owned by all rational thinkers. We all have that possibility, but without starting from that source, we are jumping and jumping, discussing, debating many philosophical views, criticizing, but we neglect, we ignore this intuitive awareness. Don't go to anywhere. Stay with us. Stay with your intuitive awareness. Ask to sit on meditation. Sit silently. And you ask to yourself, should I doubt everything? Should I doubt? Is doubting rational? Yes. I should doubt because I cannot accept anything without certainty. Therefore, I should doubt. Should I doubt that I am doubting? No. I can't doubt that I am doubting because it is a self-contradiction. For this awareness, there is no need of a philosophy, no need of a religion, no need of a literature. There is only need of intuitive awareness. So the entire philosophy of Descartes about matter, about mind, about God, and about world, all these doctrines, all these discussions are rooted in such intuitively cognized principles. Intuitively cognized principles. It is not cognized from any external source. Nobody can have this intuitive awareness in the classroom, or from a great philosopher, or from a great scriptures like Vedas and Upanishads. Nothing is greater than, no Vedas, no Upanishads, no scripture is greater than our intuitive awareness. This is the contribution of Descartes. Don't go to anywhere. This key, the key of all wisdom, that is with you. That is with you. You can't contradict yourself. You have to go ahead with different conceptions, mathematically, logically. Intuitively, you should be aware of the basic principles. And from that, matter can be explained, mind can be explained, God can be explained, and everything can be explained. If something will not be explained, don't worry. Don't worry. But you try this process. It is not necessary to explain everything by intuitive cognition. But that is the right process. Go in that way. Go in the right path. That is the real attempt of rationalism. Otherwise, we are just playing hide and seek with dogmatism. If we don't have a perfect method, then our philosophy is dogmatic by nature. It is not pragmatic. It is not rational. So if you claim that you are a rational being and you are different from animals, Mr. Man, if Mr. Man is claiming that I am rational, then he should start thinking rationally. A rational approach should be there, which starts with our intuitive awareness, intuitive consciousness. Another principle is that no non-existent thing can have attributes. If attributes are there, then they must have an existent source. Here, implicit philosophers claim that no, only attributes are there, but there is no such supporting substance. No such substance. Only attributes are there. Why there is no such substance? Because they are not perceived. Because they are not perceived. So perception is the ground of existence according to implicit philosophers. If something is not perceived in a space, that cannot be claimed as existent. So what is perceived? Only the attributes are perceived. Only the qualities are perceived. Only the activities are perceived. So from the attributes, qualities and activities, we cannot jump to an unperceived substance. This is not practical. This is only speculation. So any discussion about substance is nothing but a speculation. That is a myth that cannot be accepted scientifically. It is not pragmatic. This is the approach of implicit philosophers. Rationalist philosophers, they claim you don't perceive, you can't perceive fellow human being. You are a human being. You are a teeny, very, very small part of this whole creation. You have a very small brain. You cannot perceive. That means something does not exist. That means your perception is the standard of existence. You can't perceive. Therefore, you will say that something does not exist. The source does not exist. Can you perceive everything? Is it possible that everything can be perceived by human sense organs and everything can be conceived by human mind? So you think you are the measure of everything. You are the center of all types of explanations. No. If you are really rational, If you claim that you are a rational being, then apply this common sense. You are cheating yourself. You are a cheat. You are telling lie. Apply your common sense that if you are claiming the existence of attributes, that means they must be attributes of something. Quality means quality of something. This is black. This is black. Black is meaningful because of this. What that this is, that we shall discuss. But how can we complete the sentence? This is black. So we shall simply say black, white, sweet. It is meaningless. What is sweet? What is tasted as sweet? Oh, sugar is sweet. Or chocolate is sweet. Without the subject, the predicate is a misnomer. It is a misnomer. It is a myth. How can you speak of the predicate without the subject? How can you speak of the quality without the substance? And that supposition of the substance is not an imagination. It is not a speculation. It is very much real. If the attributes are real, if the qualities are real, then its source must be real. So attributes and substance both are real. We can't have the real attributes from an imaginary substance. It is not rational. It is not a rational approach. It may be a religious approach. But rationally speaking, we can't have an imaginary non-existent substance with existent attributes. Descartes says it is against the principle. So what is the principle? No existent thing can have attributes. Attributes are there means that must have a source, and that source must be existent. And this is not philosophy, this is not science, this is not religion, this is the common sense which is known intuitively. Therefore, it is the principle. There is no philosophy in it. Don't try to philosophize everything. Start your philosophy with common sense. And this is the common sense. Suppose there is a child, parents may not be alive, they may be they may not be alive, but we can say this child is without parents. The child is there means the child must have parents, and the parents must have parents, and parents must have parents. This is common sense. If we say that only the child is true and the parents are myth, then disasters will take place in the society. There will be no love, compassion, no moral values, nothing. Because the source is neglected. The source is ignored. So this is the contribution of Descartes. Being a foreigner, being a Westerner, he is aware of the source. And this is very much familiar in our culture. We honor the source. And being a Westerner, Descartes believes in the source, that if there are attributes, then there must be a source. So extension is the attribute and matter is the source. Matter is the substance. Similarly, thought is the attribute and mind is the substance. Mind is the substance. So extended matter and thoughtful mind. So this is common sense. We at least we know these two substances. Forget about God. At least from our experience, from our common sense, we came to know that, oh, this is matter and this is mind. Why this is matter? Because we perceive the property of matter or the essence of matter, that is extension. No, there is no empty space. Descartes says there is no empty space. There is extension. There is every space is filled with matter. So matter is the substance of extension, and extension is the attribute of that matter. We cannot think of extension without matter, and we can't accept anything matter as a metaphysical entity without the empirical attribute of extension. So matter may not be perceived, mind may not be perceived, substances may not exist in an address, in a space, in a location, but logically, intuitively, mathematically, we can ascertain, we can claim that substances must be there because the attributes are there. No attributes without substance. No attribute is possible without substance. And matters are not many. Matter is one. We see the world of diversity, that is the modifications or modes of that one matter. Similarly, mind is one. We see the modifications of mind in different sources. So matter as a substance is one. Mind as a substance is one. Matter is a substance. Mind is a substance. The second thing is that, are they dependent or independent? Descartes says they are independent to each other. That means mind is not extended and matter is not conscious. If we think of a consciousness, then we can't think that matter is the source of consciousness. Matter is not the substance of consciousness. Consciousness is not the attribute of matter. We should not confuse. We should identify the child with its own parents. So there is a DNA test in the modern age. By that we can say that this child is the child of its own parents. So consciousness as an attribute is the attribute of matter. Consciousness is an attribute, is the attribute of mind. Extension is the attribute of matter. And these two substances should not be confused. They are independent to each other. They are substances because they are the sources of these two common attributes. And the entire world is the modification of these two attributes, attribute of extension and the attribute of thought. Actually, the material world is the modification of matter. When we discuss about human being, in man, this thought attribute is available. Therefore, man is called conscious. Therefore, man has self. Therefore, man has mind. Therefore, man is different from animals according to Descartes. Descartes said that animals don't have consciousness. They are just like machines. Human beings are not machines because they have a very sophisticated mind. Gilbert Ryle said, as animals are machines, human beings are also machines. And if you say that human beings have a mind, then that is nothing but a ghost. So all the mental activities of human being are nothing but the physical activities. They are the physical chemical reactions. This is the submission of Gilbert Ryle. If you say that animals are machines, then human beings are better machines. They don't have any mind, they don't have any soul. If you claim that my man has a mind or soul, then that is a myth, that is a dogma, and that is a dogma of a ghost. Descartes gives honor to the human existence. Descartes says man is superior to animals, having a very sophisticated, conscious mind. Animals are not conscious, human beings are conscious. So from this, there appears two substances. One is thinking substance and the other is extended substance. The entire world is explained by the extended substance, and so when man comes in creation, man is explained having these two substances, thinking substance and extended substance, because man has both body and mind. Man has both body and mind. Man can reflect. Reflection is a human possibility. Thinking is a human possibility. Philosophy is a human possibility. Science is a human possibility. Religion is a human possibility. Literature is a human possibility. And all these possibilities are possible because of the possession of a sophisticated mind, and that is man. But now, each man complete, each matter complete, each mind complete. They are independent to each other, but they are not complete. They limit to each other. They are limited by each other. Because mind is extended but not conscious. Matter is extended but not conscious. Mind is conscious but not extended. That means matter lacks consciousness, mind lacks extension. That means mind is limited by extension, matter is limited by consciousness. So they are independent substances, but they are not complete because one lacks something. Matter lacks something and mind lacks something. Matter is not conscious, therefore matter is limited. Mind is not extended, therefore mind is limited. So if there are two horns of the dialectics, matter and mind, so there must be a synthesis which is most perfect being. which can accommodate both these possibilities. Extension and thought, both are separately understood. That matter has extension and mind has consciousness. And if we see the difference between matter and mind, then intuitively we can also think of the synthesis, that there must be something in which these two limitations must be merged. There must be a higher principle in which both extension and thought are possible. And it is also common sense. It is not a great philosophy. If matter is conceived as having extension and not having consciousness, if mind is conceived as having consciousness and not having extension, if they limit to each other, then there must be a synthetic principle. They must be synthesized in a higher principle in which both extension and thought are possible. Isavasyam idam sarvam. That which is all pervaded, which is most perfect being, which is both extended, Isavasyam idam sarvam, all pervaded. He is the owner of all types of extension, and he is the pure consciousness. Both extension and consciousness are there. And this dialectical process is known to us intuitively. There is no need of any teacher, scripture, or anything else. From our own intuitive awareness, if we came to know that matter is a substance of extension, mind is a substance of consciousness, and again we came to know that matter has a limitation, that matter is not conscious, and mind has a limitation, that mind is not extended. From that we infer, we deduce a higher principle. There must be something, a higher principle in which both extension and consciousness are merged. And that higher reality can be named anything, but let us call it God. God is a name. God is a name of that higher principle. That may be named otherwise. That may be named as Brahman. That may be named as Atman. That may be known as any other principle, any other name. But let us call it God. That is the most perfect, the highest principle, which includes both the possibilities and all the possibilities. Possibility of extension and the possibility of consciousness. Possibility of extension and the possibility of consciousness. That is God. But how can we prove the existence of God? This dialectic explanation is not sufficient. We have to prove the existence of God. So Descartes has provided some arguments to prove the existence of God. Descartes says that we have three types of ideas with us. Three types of ideas. One is the innate idea, the other is the adventitious idea, and the other is the imaginative idea or fictitious ideas. Adventitious ideas are those ideas which are derived from the external world. And this is also common sense. Descartes always claims that whatever I am saying is only common sense. From my common sense, I know that I have some ideas about the external world. Whatever I see, I came to know that. Whatever I see, that becomes my idea. I saw a table and that became my idea. I saw a tree and that became my idea. But these ideas come to me through my sense organs. So there is a doubt that my sense organs may deceive me, may cheat me. So these ideas about the external world, where the source is the external world, because the external world is doubtful. The external world is doubtful. My sense organs are also doubtful. Only one thing is not doubtful, that is the intuitive cognition. And sense organs don't give us the intuitive cognition. Intuitive cognition is the result of my mind. So my sense organs are doubtful. But through these sense organs, I acquire some ideas. This is common sense. How far they are true or false, that is subject to further verification. But we manage with these ideas. Sometimes we face problem. Sometimes we put ourselves in trouble, taking the falsity as truth. We confront illusions, hallucinations, many types of perceptual errors. But such ideas are there. There is no guarantee that they are true. Similarly, I have another possibility that I can imagine. Human beings can imagine. Imagination is also a human possibility. But my imagination has no guarantee. My imagination is my imagination. My imagination cannot be taken as the truth. So imaginative ideas are also not self-evident. They have no locus at all. They have no ground, because they are imaginations. So imagination is personal. That can't be universal. My imagination is my personal imagination. But such imaginative ideas are with me. But innate ideas are those ideas which are not derived from the external world, nor they are derived from my imaginative power. Neither they are imaginative nor they are empirical. Innate ideas are those ideas which are with me from my birth, which are intuitively cognized, which are innate to my brain, innate to my mind, which are native to my understanding. And that is not my understanding. Innate ideas are universal ideas. Innate ideas are intuitively cognized by all in the same way. How? Now, the idea of a most perfect being, the idea of perfection, the idea of God, all these ideas are innate ideas. And there are so many innate ideas are there. These ideas are self-evident ideas which are neither derived from experience nor from my imaginations. For example, I experience that I am imperfect. I have some limitations. This is common sense. From my common sense, I experience that I have some limitations. I am imperfect. I am not totally perfect. I am limited. My understanding is limited. My perception is limited. My perception is conditional. My understanding is formal, conditional. As Immanuel Kant said, that whatever man thinks through the categories of understanding. So that is formal understanding. Understanding is formal. And in the broad sense, whatever man thinks, that is only human thinking. That can't be holistic. So my thinking is formal, my perception is limited, it is conditional, it is subject to revision. So I know, I experience that I am imperfect. So from this idea of imperfection, intuitively I came to know that there must be a perfect being. If I am imperfect, this imperfection, the idea of imperfection can be understood with reference to something which is the perfect. Otherwise, I can't understand that I am imperfect. Imperfection presupposes perfection. Limitation presupposes the unlimited, the completeness. Evil presupposes goodness. And this is intuitively deducted. So, I have that innate idea. First thing, I have three types of ideas. Second thing, what is the source of my ideas? Adventitious ideas or empirical ideas are from the empirical world. Imaginative ideas are from my imagination. But where from I have the innate ideas? Here, Descartes says that such innate ideas which are with me from my childhood and which are not derived from any external source, that source is God. God means the higher principle. God, the name God should not be taken as it is not theistic by nature. It is not theistic. Descartes says very beautifully that who denies the existence of God, who claims that he is an atheist, that God does not exist, that proves that at least he exists as a denier. If I deny the existence of God, then I exist as the denier, because I exist to deny the existence of God. So the theist and atheists both exist in this world. By that way, we can claim the existence of a self. Similarly, when we are speaking of the most perfect being, it is named as God, but that is the most perfect being. And that most perfect being is the cause of the idea of perfection, or the cause of all possible innate ideas which are with us from our childhood, and about which we know about innate ideas intuitively, not from any other way, neither through perception, not through deduction, not through induction, not any way, but intuitively we come to know that we have some innate ideas, and these innate ideas are there with me because there must be a source which is the cause of such innate ideas. Descartes gave some arguments to prove the existence of God for the understanding of common man, that is the causal argument. The causal argument, Descartes said that every event must have a cause, and the cause must be more real than the effect. Every event must have a cause, number one. This is a causal principle, because Descartes believes in principles. Every event must have a cause. It is a principle. And the second principle is the cause must be as much real as the effect, or more real than the effect. From that we can deduce another principle: the effect cannot be more real than the cause. The effect cannot create the cause. These are the principles. So if I am the effect, I must be created by a cause. But who can be the cause of my existence? Yes, matter exists. But what is the cause of the existence of matter? Yes, mind exists. But what is the cause of the existence of mind? Yes, man exists with body and soul. But what is the cause of a human existence? If existence is the effect, then it must be caused by a higher principle. And that higher principle must be more real than the effect. So, if I have the innate ideas in my mind, and that is infinite, myself being finite, my parents being finite, this external world being finite, cannot be the cause of these infinite innate ideas. If the infinite innate ideas are the effects, then the cause must be equally real, can't be less real, must be more real or equal real. So there must be a higher principle who can be the cause of my existence as a whole, and in particular the existence of my ideas, innate ideas, and that is God. So this is the causal argument. So effect cannot create cause. The cause must be more real than the effect, and every event must have a cause. If I am the effect, if I am a man having a body and soul, if I am a man as the possessor of the innate ideas, so my cause cannot be less real than my existence, because I have the infinite ideas, innate ideas, so the cause must be infinite, and that infinite source is named as God. Then cosmological argument. Cosmological argument says that I have already told that everything is imperfect. I experience that I am imperfect. In the cosmos, everything is imperfect. Imperfect means is subject to change. Everything is changing. So there must be the most perfect being, the most unchanging reality, and that is God. And Descartes gave the ontological argument that I have the concept of a innate idea, and from that innate idea, here we are not discussing about the cause of innate idea. The cause of innate idea is God, that is causal argument. But in ontological argument, Descartes says, from the concept of idea, the concept of God, we can intuitively deduce the existence of God. Because from a necessary idea, existence can be implied. If an idea is necessary, from that we can derive two things: existence and perfection. So Descartes has synthesized existence with perfection. Whatever is existent unconditionally, that must be perfect. That must be good. So God being good, here goodness is not the predicate of a God. It is not an attribute of a God. God is good means it is identical. It is identical because the infinite existence is equal to perfection. Similarly, the necessary idea is equal to existence. Because I have that innate idea which is not derived from any external source, that necessary idea implies intuitively, deductively, the very existence. This is the ontological argument. So from the idea of a God, we can prove the existence of God. Many, including Kant, many philosophers criticize that I have the idea of $100 in my pocket. Can I say that I have the existence of $100 in my pocket? No. The idea of $100 in my pocket is not a necessary idea. If an idea is necessary, its existence is necessary. Necessary idea and its objective existence are one and the same. So this is the ontological argument. So basically what we understand that in the physical world we find limitations, as we said, as we discussed, that matter is limited because matter is not conscious. Mind is limited because mind is not extended. From that, we intuitively came to know that there must be a higher source which must be both extended and conscious. That is God. So if we take both physics and metaphysics, then the entire cosmic phenomena can be explained rationally. Otherwise, we shall land in the relative empirical world. Complete explanation of the cosmic phenomena is possible by the combination of both physics and metaphysics. Thank you. Dr. Rao, are you here? Dr. Rao? Okay, Dr. Now is absent. So if you have any doubt, please ask me directly. I shall moderate my own session. There is a question I am reading. Yes, Swami. He has asked a question. I have a question in my mind that why human beings are not machines? Why only animals? If human beings have both essential quality, animality and rationality, animals have only animality. Is it said for having the quality of animality or what? Sir, each region gives us certainty or experience. Was Descartes completely denied the experience as source of knowledge? No. Okay. Yes, Swami, he has asked 3 questions. His question is that why only animals are called machines and human beings are not machines. Exactly this question is asked by Gilbert Ryle. Gilbert Ryle is claiming that animals are machines. Similarly, human beings are better machines, costly machines, sophisticated machines. Then what is the implication? If human beings are machines, then all human thoughts, all human emotions, imaginations, creations are the products of a machine. So your literature, your philosophy, your good thought, your love for your children, your love for your nation, all are the products of a machine. If you are satisfied with this, and if you are ready to accept your love as a love of a machine, that your love for a child is a mechanical love, as ATM machine gives us money by command. Similarly, your love for your child is mechanical. Your love for your nation is mechanical. Your commitment is mechanical. Your compassion, everything is only mechanical. And Gilbert Ryle also claims that all types of emotions, they are only the physical reactions. They are the chemical reactions. So this is one view. So Descartes and Gilbert Ryle, Descartes is claiming that man is not a machine because what man can do, animals can't. In the last session I had discussed that animals perceive, human beings perceive. Sometimes animals better perceive than human beings, because sense organs of animals, some sense organs of some animals are so sophisticated, so well organized that they can see the distant things. They can perceive better than animals, than human beings. So far as perception is concerned, animals and human beings are same, or animals are better than human beings. But animals lack one thing, that is making judgments, that is being aware of good and bad, that being aware of criticism. So that these are all rational activities. So we can't consider man as a machine. Why? Because man, both have brains. Animals have a brain, and human beings have also brain. But the brain of human beings are more sophisticated, more organized, that they become conscious. Many others also claim that animals are also conscious because they have the sense of pleasure and pain. Because they feel pleasure and pain, they have consciousness. Still, man is better than animals because man is not only conscious, man is self-conscious. So being self-conscious means I am conscious that I am conscious. This is self-consciousness. Therefore, man cannot be treated as a machine. If man will be treated as... Actually, what happens in the Western land, and what is the result of materialism? Man, this is the crisis of today, that man is treated as a machine. What is the identity of a father? If father has no pension, then the father has no value in family. Father is a rejected machine. Father is a good machine if he has a good salary, good pension. If father has no machine, not only is a machine, he is a rejected machine. So father will be thrown to the backside of our home, or to the old age home. So this is the trend of our thinking. If you think that man is a machine, then your father is also a machine. Your child is also a machine. Your child will treat you as a machine, as you treat your father as a machine. If you think that my child is conscious being, if you think that my wife is a conscious being, if you think that every citizen is a conscious being, then you will have love, compassion, forgiveness, sympathy. All these cardinal values will be meaningful. Otherwise, our activities can be mechanically explained like ATM machine and other machines. No, we live with emotion. We have a reasoning capacity, but that is not enough. We live with emotion. We love each other. We have sense of sacrifice. We care and share. That is not the product of a machine. And secondly, you want to know that complete deny yes, experience is the source. No, Descartes does not deny experience as the source of knowledge. Descartes said that there are three types of ideas. We have innate ideas, which are known intuitively. We have reasoning capacity. We can make deduction, but at the same time, we have adventitious ideas, which are derived from the external world through our sense organs. So Descartes is the father of our modern philosophy. In that sense, Descartes does not deny anything. Descartes accepts everything. Yes, experience is a source of knowledge, but it has its own limits. It is subject to error. It is not free from error. There is illusion, hallucination, and many perceptual errors. Therefore, Descartes said that can be doubted. That is not free from doubt. That is not self-evident. To make our experience evident, we have to depend upon evidence. Evidence will make our experience evident, but no evidence is required to make your innate ideas evident. Therefore, they are self-evident. You have your experience, but that is not free from error. All your adventitious ideas are derived from your experience. So that is true, but they are not sufficient. Other questions I am reading. If God is infinite, then human mind is finite or infinite? Thank you very much for beautiful presentation of mind, matter, substance, God with regards. God, good evening, sir. Yes. If God is infinite, then human mind is infinite or finite. Human mind is finite because it is a subsidiary substance. It is a substance. It has substantial status because it is the substance of the mental activities. Matter is also substance, but it is also finite in the sense it is limited by something. So a limited substance cannot be infinite. Matter is a substance, but matter is not conscious. When something is not something, that can't be infinite. Mind is a substance, but mind is not extended. When mind is not something, that cannot be infinite. So matter is a subsidiary substance. Mind is a subsidiary substance. Both are independent to each other, but both depend upon God. So anything that depends, that cannot be infinite. Anything that does not depend, that cannot be finite. This is the definition. Any principle that does not depend upon anything, that can't be finite. It must be infinite. Anything that depends, that can't be infinite. So mind is finite in that sense. Matter is finite in that sense. So beyond matter and mind, there is a higher source, infinite source, the most perfect. Matter is not perfect because it lacks consciousness. Mind is not perfect because mind lacks extension. Okay, but God is most perfect being, infinite, because it is all inclusive. It includes all possibilities, all perfections. It includes both extension and thought. Matter is extended but not thought. Mind is thought but not extended, but God is the source of all possible extension and thought. Isavasyam idam sarvam. That God is all pervaded. He is the owner. He is extended. He is pervaded everywhere, and He is the source of all thought, self-consciousness, Sachitananda. He is Sat, Chit, and Ananda, the source of all existence, extension. the source of all consciousness, and is the source of all bliss or ananda. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Okay. So the questions that were found in the chat box, I tried to answer. If anybody still has any question, can unmute and ask me. Otherwise, we shall close this session with vote of thanks by Mrs. Sonalata Tripathi, Madam. Thank you everybody. Yes. Yes, unmute and ask if you have any question. You are not audible, sir.
Thank you much for your and any question actually. I will discuss one point that man is a being, and this personality to the meaning.
No, you are not audible, sir.
Man if man not work with society in community, if this language as an institution is imbibed by a human being, as Akbar has made other human and sounds, etc. It found that the behaved just like an animal. This is intuitive is very much natural. That I understand. But what man is a man that social animal, man is the socially reasoning. I mean, so that from the perspective of socialism, I want to say actual is language is there, is capable of distinguishing things, spiritual, spiritual experience, all these. For you have learnt language. Do you agree with me? Or is there any difference? Follow if I mean say. The role of language, and which is learnt in the lab of society, that this reasoning or rationality which is very much naturally crafted in human being as different from animals, that develops only because of man's sociality, capacity of sociality. Man, because is a social being, man, because is a linguistic being, he is all very much close. Hello. Do you follow what I mean to say? I want to say I don't deny anything that has been put from the Cartesian philosophic perspective. I don't have I mean the personal knowledge. But unless man is not have like intuitive experience, conscious ideas, intuitive ideas, all these things. Is not it? Without the
Yes. We have other two questions in the chat box. We shall discuss and then we shall close. One question is whether Descartes believes in one mind or many minds or one matter and many matters. So far as the substance is concerned, Descartes believes in one matter and one mind. But the modifications are different. There are different modifications of minds. As far as individual minds are many, but mind as a substance is one. Similarly, the entire universe can be explained by one matter. Matters are manifested in different ways. They are the modifications. But essentially, there is one matter. And science also believes in that. Science does not believe that there are many material principles. By principle, matter is one. Similarly, by substance, mind is one substance. Similarly, God is also one. There are not 33 crores of gods like Indian culture believes. God is also one God. Mind is one mind. Because they are substances. So far as substance, they are one. So far as modifications, they are many. Okay. Similarly, there is another question that how we can say that the idea of God is an innate idea, because from our childhood we listen about God from others. We listen about temples, rites, rituals, and we learn it from society, from our family, from our religion. So that is a derivative idea because it has been derived from our family, our society, our education, our religion. So how can it be an innate idea? Very beautiful question. Exactly this has been said by John Locke, that no idea is innate. All ideas are derived from our sense experience. But here, we are not interested in the idea of a God. Here therefore I repeatedly said, that principle is named as God. We may name it otherwise. Don't take God as something theistic or it is anti-atheistic. No. We experience that we are imperfect. This is a very common sense experience that we are imperfect. We are limited. If we do not experience that, that means you are in dogma. I am imperfect. I am limited by this or that. From this, I know intuitively that there must be a principle which is most perfect. This much. That may be named as God. That may be named as Ishvara. That may be named as God particle. That may be named as Sunya. That may be named as Brahman. Anything you name, that is separate thing. But intuitively I came to know that there is an idea of perfection which is not derived from any external source, not from any source at all. So that is known intuitively. Similarly, many such ideas are there in my mind which are not derived from any empirical source. In that sense, Descartes tries to explain the innate ideas. That is the point. Innate idea. Again, the question is asked that where do exist innate ideas? Innate ideas exist in mind. That is the mind substance, thinking substance. Innate ideas do not exist in air. It exists in mind. Mind has three ideas: innate ideas, adventitious ideas, and fictitious ideas. Thank you. So we shall close here.
Sir.
Yes, 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 madam, please.
Sir, if we say we are imperfect and something is there which is perfect, it is God, then we are modifications of that perfect that by which we are also imperfect, but we are modified. We have told in spirit that is modification is fine. Whether modification of us from source.
The good point. Sabani madam was trying to ask something, but she was not audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, now audible.
That we say we are imperfect and there must be a source. That perfect that we say.
No, madam, you are not audible, madam. Properly, you are not audible. So you will try to write your question in the chat box next time. You are not audible. Perhaps there is some technical problem.
Thank you,
okay.
Sir.
So now I request.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes, good
sir,
evening.
According to Descartes, so what is the existence of innate ideas, sir? Because he's mentioning dual roles of ideas. Sir, I'm a student, sir.
Yes. Innate ideas exist in the thinking substance, that is mind or soul or self.
Yes, sir.
Could you hear me? Am I?
Yes, sir. I can hear, sir.
Mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have already answered it. Mind has three types of ideas. Mind means a thinking substance. And as a thinking substance, it has three types of ideas: innate ideas, adventitious ideas, and imaginative ideas or fictitious ideas. All these ideas exist in mind itself. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Thank you. So now I request Mrs. Tripathi to propose vote of thanks.
Pranam to everybody. Today, Pramod sir delivered talk on matter, mind, and God very beautifully. Matter, mind, and God are the three possible realities.
The entire cosmic phenomena can be explained by these three principles. God is the highest possibility of the best explanation of the creation. We thank Pramod sir for his beautiful presentation. We thank all the participants for participating in the discussion. Their presence is our inspiration. We shall meet again tomorrow with our Sunday program in Philosophy family. Thank you all. Pranam. Meeting is closed. Thank you.